Hi, I'm Isaac from the BOS, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up your business on the BOS. So to start off with, we'll just jump on the BOS website at thebos.com.au, and from here we'll click the sign up button. This should open a new tab, and here's where the fun begins. First off, we'll just collect some basic business details like the name of your business. So we are a demo company, and your country and state. So we're based in Queensland here. Next up, we'll grab name details. So we'll go Isaac Demo, and then an email address, and then a secure password. Make sure to check out those terms and conditions before you finish signing up, and once you've done that, we're good to go. We'll agree to the terms and conditions and then tap sign up. Next, we'll just confirm our email address. Once we've done that, we just need to log in and choose our plan. I'm going to start off with the light plan. This gives me all my key driving metrics for my business, but I don't get individual logins for each of my practitioners. This is a great place to start, and you can always upgrade your plan later. That was easy. You'll notice you haven't been charged the full amount. That's because our billing's usually on the first of the month, so you've just been charged a pro rata amount for the remainder of the current month. Now that we've done that, it's time to set up our PMS. So we'll click Initial Setup just here. First, we'll choose which PMS we're using. We currently support both Nucal and Clinico, and we're adding more PMSs over time. If the one you're using isn't in this list, just get in touch with us and we can add it. Once you've done that, just paste in your API key. If you're not sure how to do it, we've got instructions below explaining how to do it for each of these connections. Then I'll just hit confirm to check that it's all working. Next up is the initial data import. This is where we'll grab the locations, practitioners, and billable items. You just want to spot check and make sure these numbers look correct. For example, often people make the mistake of locking down an API key when they're setting them up to a single location, so you won't see everything here. This is your last chance to confirm that your API key is set up correctly before we do the full data import. If it's wrong, just go back. If all these numbers look correct, click next and we'll move on. Now the nerdy stuff begins. We're going to start categorizing our data. Now all the data we're looking at, say like billable hours or revenue, can be broken down in a lot of different ways. For example, you could break it down by practitioner or by location or by date, and those are all data that we can get directly from your PMS without you having to do anything. However, there might be other ways you want to break stuff down. For example, by the funding source like DVA, Medicare, NDIS or private, or you might want to break them down by service type. For example, initial consults, telehealth, group classes, and stuff like that. In our experience, you definitely want to make the funding source and service type categories, but there might be other types you also want to make. So I'm going to tick those two boxes to get those categories made for me automatically. Going to click add and then we'll move on. Now this will probably be the boring bit where we actually categorize everything. So what I'm going to do is create a new funding source by clicking this plus, and I'm going to call it NDIS. So now we've got an NDIS category under funding source, and then instead of categorizing them individually, I'm just going to search for everything with NDIS in there. Tick the lot, and then update all of these to be NDIS. I'll now add a service type of initial, as that's something we like to keep track of. Select all our initials here. I'm going to categorize those as an initial. Now you don't need to categorize absolutely everything. Anything that isn't categorized into one of these will just appear on reports as uncategorized, and you can always go in there later and change the categorizations. Now that we're done here, I'm going to click next and then begin the final data import. As this can take a while, you can close your tab now and the import will keep running in the background on our servers. When everything's all done and we've got all your data ready, you'll receive an email saying that the BOS is ready to go. Alright, the import is finished, so now we're ready for action. So I'm going to log in and then hit the mega report. This is the main report of the BOS, and you'll find most of the information you need to run your business on this page. As this is your first visit to the mega report, it'll take you on a little tour, but I'll show you everything now. So firstly, we've got the view selector. I'm currently on basic, which has all the key metrics of the business. We've also got an advanced view, which has a lot more data in it. Honestly, when people are first getting used to the BOS, this is too much information, so I'd suggest sticking in basic view unless you find there's a metric that you're looking for that isn't included. You can also edit this view to add or remove rows, and you can also change permissions per user. You can also create custom views, so if you want to make one that's just for marketing, just for sales, or just for practice managers, you can do all that and add or remove any rows you want. Next up are dashboards, and this just allows you to visualize your data. So I've created a couple here. Here's a financial one where we're comparing a few different types of revenue, and then we've also got some donut charts breaking down the source of revenue. The donut charts are really cool, and these report on whichever period you're mousing over. So now this is showing the data for October 29. Now we've got the data for November 5 and then for November 12. So you'll see that each donut represents just the week you're currently mousing over, while these bar charts show you your performance over time. There's also different styling options you can have for charts. So here we've got different ways ways to present line charts. You can create as many dashboards as you want, but I'd suggest keeping it under 5, just because the more dashboards you have, the more confusing it can get. Next up, we have our time settings. So the most important one is probably the interval selector. This allows you to choose what each column is. Currently, each column represents 1 week, and the date at the top is the date of the Sunday of that week. We can also report in monthly mode. So if you're into financial reports, you'll probably find you spend a lot of time in monthly view. You can also report daily and yearly, and if there's any custom intervals your business runs on, for example, a 6-week testing period, we can set that up for you as well. That way you can report where each column represents one of those periods. Next, we have the division selector, so you can view the performance of the whole business at once, or you can zoom in on individual regions or all the way into an individual location. For me, the most exciting thing about the Mega Report is the drop downs. So this allows me to break down any metric I'm seeing into the individual components. For example, if I'm looking at this revenue and wondering what funding source it's coming from, I can just click the funding source drop down here. And now I'm going to see how my revenue is made up based on all the different funding sources. So I can see DVA is pulling in 42, Medicare is doing 15, and just compare all those. What's really cool is you can also compare those breakdowns month by month or week by week, all in the one report. We don't need to do a whole bunch of different reports in our PMS to compare performance over time for multiple locations. But we can even go further. We can break down these breakdowns. So I can look at DVA and then break that down by service category. Here I'll then see of my total revenue, how much is DVA, and of that, what is the breakdown of initial consults to telehealth to other types of consults. And you can break this data down as much as you want. Another really cool thing at the Mega Report is that I can click on most of these numbers to see where they came from. For example, I can click on this $638 here and see the exact invoices that contribute to that amount. Another really cool data visualization tool is the instant chart. This allows you to just click on the chart icon on the very left of any mega row and instantly view that in chart format. So here I'm going to graph billable hours versus booked hours to see if I can notice a pattern or a correlation between these two metrics. This is a lot easier than setting up a dashboard. Well, that's enough about the Mega Report for now. Hopefully you're able to sign up, import all your data and present everything as well as I have here. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to us. We'd love to help anytime, and check out our other videos to see other functionality in the BOS. Thanks for watching.